Yo, what's good, guys? We are finally back reacting to Islam videos. I haven't reacted to many videos lately. Damn, I took a long break, but I'm finally back. Today we're gonna check out the Shia-Sunni divide. What is really the difference between these two branches of Islam? I know you all want me to check out the different surah, the cover stories, but I wanna get back to it. You know, I haven't checked out many videos from from Islam lately, so I want to get back to the basics. And I just finished reading a book that were talking about many topics, you know, many disputes in the Middle East. So there's always these two recurring terms, Shia and Sunni. I don't know the difference, so let's learn it together. Let's go.
In the 7th century, a new faith was unveiled to the people of Mecca, a new religion based on allegiance to one God. They called it Islam, or submission to God. Its message was to reject polytheism.
I've read before the book about the life of Muhammad that many subscribers recommended me. I really enjoyed it, and I think after that I searched for some information. They said about some other war with his descendant that led to this rupture, but I'm not totally sure. That's what I recall, but I'm not sure.
And idolatry. The messenger was Prophet Muhammad. His followers spread the word across the Arabian Peninsula. They built a large community. They united in belief and practices. But after the Prophet left, his followers split. That bitter divide still remains. What was it about? Prophet Muhammad's successor, he did not leave behind an heir. He did not say who should lead the Islamic faith after him. So his followers fought, and two prominent camps emerged. One said the Prophet's bloodline should succeed him, a member of his own family should be the new leader or caliph. The other camp said that the Islamic community should choose a pious successor. And this debate was never resolved. And Islam split into two groups, the Shias and the Sunnis, united in their religion, divided in their views, also in their doctrine, rituals, law, and theology. Despite these differences, Shias and Sunnis lived in relative peace through most of their history. The distinctions were largely irrelevant. But starting the late 20th century, the schism deepened. It exploded into violence and bloodshed. Extreme brands of both sects began fighting for supremacy, both religious and political. Hello and welcome to Gravitas Plus. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay. On the 8th of October, Afghanistan witnessed a suicide bombing. A Shia mosque in the city of Kunduz was attacked. 100 worshippers were killed and injured. Who was behind it? The Islamic State.
Afghanistan is one of the most, the countries with the most Shia, right? With Iran and Iraq. I think also Azerbaijan is within that. And then Sunnism is pretty much the rest of the Islamic world. Or am I mistaken?
State of Khorasan province, ISKP, a terror outfit that endorses an extreme form of Sunni Islam. On the 15th of October, another Shia mosque was targeted. This time in Kandahar, dozens were killed, hundreds were injured. It was absolute carnage. These attacks have sparked fears of sectarian violence, of the resurgence of an old conflict driven by an ancient religious divide that has played out in West Asia for decades. The Shia-Sunni divide has fueled a civil war in Syria, spurred violence that fractured Iraq, and widened fissures in a number of Islamic countries, Bahrain, Lebanon, and Yemen, to name a few. So it's important that we understand what this divide is, how much of it is about religion, and how much of it is driven by politics. We'll start with history. 632 AD, Prophet Muhammad's passing. It split the Islamic community. They fought over his successor. One group wanted to elect the Prophet's companion, Abu Bakr, as the first caliph or the leader of the Islamic community. The other group favored Ali ibn Abi Talib, the Prophet's cousin and son-in-law.
That's such a cool name, Ali ibn Abi Talib.
Now, those in favor of Abu Bakr call themselves Sunnis, followers of the Sunnah. They derive their name from the phrase Ahl al-Sunnah, meaning people of the tradition. Tradition in this case referred to practices based on what the Prophet said, did, condoned, or condemned. The Sunnis were a group of prominent early followers of Islam. They wanted a leader to be elected from the community, not the family. They believed in consensus, not lineage or dynasty. The Shias, on the other hand, believed that succession should be based on the bloodline. So they favored the Prophet's son-in-law, Ali to be the first caliph. They formed a movement known as Shiat Ali, meaning the party of Ali or the partisans of Ali. They believed that Ali and his descendants were part of a divine order and only they could guide Islam and the Muslim community righteously. But the Shias were in relative minorities, so the Sunni majority won. They chose Abu Bakr as the first caliph, Umar ibn al-Khattab as the second caliph, and Uthman ibn Affan as the third caliph. All three of them were trusted companions of the Prophet. So far, the Sunnis triumphed politically, but the Shias continued to consider the Prophet's descendants as the true caliphs. They kept pushing for them. Eventually, Ali was elected the fourth caliph. He was the Prophet's cousin and son-in-law. But his rule was short-lived. Ali was assassinated by his enemies. Ali's sons, Hassan and Hussein, wanted to take his place, but they were denied the right of accession. This led to a power struggle. At stake was not just the Prophet's legacy, but the entire caliphate, which now stretched beyond the Arabian Peninsula. There was also a lot of money involved in the form of taxes and tributes paid by various tribes under the banner of Islam. Now, this combination of money and power led to a civil war. The result of the war was this: the caliphate was passed to the Umayyad dynasty in Damascus. Then it went to the Abbasid dynasty based in Baghdad. The Shias rejected the authority of both these Sunni rulers. They kept fighting. In 681 AD, when the Umayyads were in power, Ali's son Hussein led a group of 72 followers from Mecca to Karbala, which is now in Iraq. He went there to confront the corrupt Caliph Yazid, but he was killed by a massive army of the Umayyads. He was decapitated and brought to Damascus as a tribute to the Caliph. The Sunnis thought this would end all claims of leadership by the Shias, but their actions had the opposite effect. Hussein's martyrdom became a watershed moment for the Shias, a defining moral story of their tradition, a hallmark of their identity and existence. Today it is commemorated each year as Ashura, the 10th day of Muharram, and the most solemn date in the Shia calendar. They mark it with collective atonement and self-flagellation. The Battle of Karbala had a lasting impact. It sharpened the divisions between Shias and Sunnis. The Sunni caliphs worried that the Shias would use it to capture public imagination and topple monarchs. So they persecuted and marginalized the Shias further, portrayed them as heretics and apostates. Then in the 16th century came the first major Shia dynasty, the Safavid dynasty, transformed Iran from a Sunni center to a Shia stronghold in West Asia. It made Shia Islam the state religion and fought with the Ottomans, the seat of the Sunni Caliphate. From this power struggle emerged a series of Shia and Sunni dynasties. They spread all over the world, from Europe to the Indian subcontinent, from Central Asia to Africa. With the onset of European colonialism, these dynasties faded, but the Shia-Sunni differences did not. By the 20th century, their empires took the shape of countries. Their legacies resulted in demographic segmentation. Most Shia Muslims settled in Iran, Iraq, Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Lebanon, with small communities in India and Pakistan. Today, they comprise 10% of the global Muslim population.
Oh, so it's
the
not
remaining
Afghanistan, I
90%
was
are Sunni
mistaken.
Muslims.
I'm sorry.
They're settled in West Asia, in Central Asia, South Asia, Africa. Sunni Muslims form an overwhelming majority in more than 40 countries. For much of their modern history, the Shia-Sunni divide was largely irrelevant in these countries. The differences were limited to their beliefs and practices. Like when they pray, Shias stand with their hands at their sides. Sunnis put their hands on their stomachs. Sunni clerics wear white robes. Shia clerics wear black robes. Shias often venerate clerics as saints. Sunnis do not. Shias believe in self-flagellation. Sunnis do not. Rarely did these differences spill into conflicts. Shias and Sunnis lived.
Venerated by the clerics are venerated by saints. Okay, so it's kind of like the Catholic religion that we believe in saints.
Clerics as saints. Sunnis do not. Shias believe in self-flagellation. Sunnis do not.
Oh, but
Rarely
maybe those
did
ones
these
are like,
differences
yeah,
spill into
okay.
conflicts. Shias and Sunnis lived in mixed neighborhoods. They also frequently intermarried. But in the last few decades, the divide has deepened, especially after 1979, when an Islamic revolution took place in Iran and a new brand of Shia Islam emerged. It clashed with the Sunni conservatives of Saudi Arabia. Both theocracies began fighting for religious and political control. Sunnis and Shias inadvertently got sucked into this power struggle. But interestingly, the Saudis and the Iranians have never really declared war on each other. Instead, they fight indirectly, they fight proxy wars, they support opposing sides in other conflicts. We've seen this during the war in Iraq, the civil war in Syria.
We see that even now with the conflict between Israel and Hamas that was allegedly sponsored by Iran's government, no? The Hamas massacre that led to the invasion by Israel of Gaza. I mean, I'm not an expert on that, but that's what I heard.
The civil war in Yemen, the uprising in Bahrain, the political unrest in Lebanon, all of this is said to be a result of
especially we need to check out some videos about Yemen, because I don't know much about this country, but from what I read in the last book that I read about the Middle East, they said that there's like a war between Saudi Arabia and Iran in Yemen that is fought directly in Yemen, and this country is really fucked because of this war. I'm not sure. Let me know down in the comments if that is true, because you never know with those books. You know, they can be from one part or from the other. Could be propaganda. I don't know. If there are some cool videos to learn more about the Middle East, please let me know, because it's really interesting to me.
Between Saudi Arabia and Iran, a Sunni and a Shia power, both amping up sectarianism to serve their interests. What does this tell you? That the Shia-Sunni divide today is as much about religion as it is about politics. Yes, it may have stemmed from a 7th century religious dispute, but that dispute is not primarily driven by faith. It's driven by a desire for power, resources, and control.
Yeah, I mean, the last statement, it's pretty obvious. Most of the times people have used religion for their own agenda, to control the world, to pursue their self-interest, and not that much about faith. But yeah, guys, this video was really interesting. I learned a lot of new stuff, so if you have any more recommendations for future videos, they will be really appreciated. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.